Guys, today's the day. We get to work on the containment cells. But to recap you guys, I went ahead and built the wall with a circular bent to it, and I went ahead and made a little bit of a bridge and finished the center. I had to cut out some of the inside to make it fit more and make it nicer, so it on the inside. On the outside it looks like a giant light bulb, and I'm not kidding. But with that being said, we are going to finish Star Labs Particle Accelerator. Just the accelerator. Cue the intro. Alright guys, so I finished touching up a little bit, and now we get to add the nice trim around the building, which will be a white trim just to make it a bit more Star Labs and not a gray bulb. So let's get started. So I then decided to work on the trims, making a nice white kind of like rubber band around the building. Once finished, I then decided to work on the next layer of the white trim, and then decided to add a window of trims, just to give the building a bit more lifelike rather than just a block. So with the windows, I chose white to match the white stripes. I then decided to get to work on the top and try to make a roof for the building. So I'm probably going to make like a grid-like pattern so it will be easier to fill in. With the grid-like pattern completed, I can now fill in the rest, giving the roof to the accelerator and the floor to the cortex floor. The third floor, I believe, is what we're going to call it. Maybe, we don't know if we're going to have to do the way we did to the second floor and make a little gap in between. But this will at least be the floor or roof of the accelerator, so it is a bit more covered and sheltered. And then we were going to be working on the containment cells and trying to get this to be functional. I was going to work on trying to make it explosive, but that's not going to go great because I kind of can't really waterlog every single block. I mean, I tried that and then uncut part of the video, and now it was a mess. So yeah, I'm not gonna try to make this explosive proof, but at least there's gonna be an animation with the accelerator going and spinning around, kind of like what they did in the show. I then started working on the bridge and the inside once covering up the roof. Gave myself some night vision so I could see, realizing there are lots of bats in the inside of the building. So we wanted to figure out a way to deal with those, but working on the bridge so they can get up and around the place. They had one on the outer ring, the one on the inner ring, and 4 bridges connecting all of the different points of sides. Whoops. Well, did not mean to hit the back. And then we will be making this a functional bridge. With the bridge completed, we can now say the accelerator is done. We now need to work on the containment cells and the animation for the accelerator. But the base, the building, the model, it is done. You can fly around and it looks awesome. Alright guys, so with a few YouTube videos later, I figured out how to make a particle accelerator functional without explosions. So a short example or summary of how I did this is I have a command telling that spinning pedestal thing, forgot what his name was, almost stand. It's telling that thing to spin, and I have the particle animation of an explosion spinning around its head. But by, coding it to make the radius higher, that means instead of spinning around its head, it's going to be spinning around the base or the enlargement, and then I raise it up. So essentially, think of a tiny little circular explosion circling his head, I enlarge it so it fits the accelerator, and then I raise it up a few blocks so it actually goes up there, and that is how I got it. So right now I'm trying to figure out how to get this to be centered by messing with these numbers. Let's see if this works. Nope, that is too high. We want it to be below the bridge and a bit in the middle. That's what I'd like it to be. Alright, I think I got it. Let's hope this works. This should get it to the direction. Yep, I like this one. It's a lot nicer. It works well. So if you remember when I was telling you how I waterlogged everything, yeah, that was inside this giant thing. The center part is filled with water. But aside from that, and something could go wrong if it were to explode, time to actually make the explosion look real but not actually explode. And I'm going to be using something similar as to what I used for the accelerator. Alright, so I added a blue lantern to make it look like the blue tube earbud put into the accelerator in season 1 after he kidnapped Eddie. And I was able to code it a bit to make it do an explosion, and I changed the particle accelerator to actual particles and not an explosion spinning around. And here we have this. Yeah, it's an okay, but I have another armor stand below it, and it's just raised up, and it explodes above its head instead of going in a circle around its head. Yeah, it took me a bit to figure out how to do that, but we now have an explosion to go with the particle accelerator, and it's awesome. The only thing I'm gonna have to figure out how to do later is get rid of the chat, because it is annoying when it's spinning, and it's telling me every single time it goes round and round. So I will try to figure out how to do that later. So here's the containment cell. I copied and pasted from the upstairs, below stairs, I guess is what you call it. But I just copied and pasted it so I could, have it, because I did not remember how to build it. So this is going to be the containment cell, and I'll just copy and paste it around the area to make it look like it's filled with these. So in the process of copying and pasting, I forgot to paste in the same direction. So I'm going to have to actually build this by hand, sadly. I really don't want him to. Yeah, I gotta do this by hand. So painful. After touching up all of the different containment cells, unit, whatever you want to call it, I have now completed not a bunch, but at least enough to make it look nicer. So yeah, yay. That took way too long. I mean, my brain was just like... Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to drop down a like and subscribe, comment anything you liked about the video, and I will see you in the next one.